Yeah, hi there. These comments are for Mlin. This is Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for the 7-step system to pass the TOEFL IBT. And thank you for your comments. And let's take a look at your specific situation. You say, I am so depressed about my TOEFL score. I had done the test 3 times since June. The scores are 74, 76, and 77. I really worked hard to prepare for the real test, but I couldn't make 80. Now I cannot apply my dream school for graduate degree, and I cannot make another exam before December 1st. The last chance for me to take the test again will be in late January 2013. I think I'm stuck at this point. You want to say stuck there. Could you tell me what should I do to get a much higher score, please? Okay. One of the things you're doing is you just wrote an email. Writing anything is always a good way to really improve, I think, your TOEFL score, especially in the writing. And I can tell from the writing that you do have some language issues that you need to solve. For example, in the second sentence you want to say, I worked really hard to prepare for the real TOEFL test. I would say there. Or the last sentence, it's a word order issue. You want to say, could you tell me what I should do to get a much higher score instead of what should I do? So with noun clauses, Mlin, you want to use statement word order with those. So before I get into my online TOEFL course, I want to give you some basic tips. Keep doing this. Each day you want to spend about 45 minutes reading. You can read newspapers, magazines, and longer books. Nothing to do with TOEFL. Just reading. Read a lot every day for several months. As you're reading, you can keep a notebook of new words. And if you think you have trouble spelling any of those, you can, if you see any words that you think might be difficult for you to spell, you can also put those in your journal. So that's step number 1. Is on a regular basis, about an hour a day, you want to engage in reading. This is very, very important for you. Now, another idea. In addition to reading for about an hour a day, you should also spend about an hour, again, you're not studying TOEFL at all, you're simply watching TV, you might be watching a movie, you might be watching a news program, you might even be watching a documentary. Now, in both cases, when you're reading and when you're listening, you can take notes on what you're reading or what you're listening to, and then you can use those notes to orally explain out loud. Try to explain using your own grammar, using your own vocabulary, what you just read or what you just listened to. This is very, very important, because you're trying to re-explain something that you have read or what you've listened to, and that's very good practice for the integrated speaking and writing parts of the test. So that would be another suggestion. If you want to practice integrated writing, you can do the same thing. You can take notes on what you've read, you can take notes on what you've listened to, and then practice writing a summary. And when you're writing the summary, pay attention to your grammar, your vocabulary. Make sure you're using transition words in there to connect the different points together. So just reading and listening and doing that, just doing that for 2 hours a day is a very big step, I think, in the right direction. But remember, you got to do it every day. I'm not talking about once a week. I'm not talking about once a month. I'm not saying twice a week. I'm saying 7 days a week, every week. Think about that. If you just do those 2 things, right? 2 hours a day, 7 days a week, that's 14 hours of very good reading and very good listening practice. Again, don't use a TOEFL book when you do this. What you're trying to do is to get just normal, authentic contact with the English language. Okay, now the next thing. You're stuck. You're stuck, your score's stuck. You feel like you can't get past the 80 that you need, right? Let me tell you a little bit about my online TOEFL course. To help you get unstuck, I have 3 different sections of my course which are very important for you. Vocabulary, pronunciation, and grammar. Both of these 3 areas will be very important for you because it helps you advance your basic English proficiency to more advanced English proficiency. In my vocabulary section of my course, you'll learn 1,700 words. Think about that. What do you think, Mlin, the impact of learning 1,700 words, how do you think that will affect your TOEFL score? It will affect it very positively, of course. Now, as you go through my pronunciation course, what you want to do, the pronunciation section of my online course, you want to make sure you complete the pre-test very quickly. After you do the pre-test, either my IBT TOEFL specialist, Jacob, or I will listen to that pre-test and we'll give you some feedback. We will tell you specifically which lessons in the pronunciation part of my course you want to focus on to get better. Right? So that's also going to be very helpful for you for the speaking part of the test. And most importantly, it'll be much easier for native speakers to understand what you're saying. So even if you don't need the TOEFL, if you focus a lot in the pronunciation part of my course and the vocabulary, you will be able to communicate much better with native speakers. And that's a good thing, right? Okay, the third area is grammar. You also need to work a lot in your grammar. I can tell from the message that you wrote that you are struggling. You're struggling with your sentence formation, you're struggling with your word choice, you're struggling with your punctuation, you're struggling with word order, and a few other areas, right? So as you study the grammar section of my online course, you will begin to recognize correct sentence structure, correct word choice and punctuation, and hopefully hopefully you will be able to minimize any of those errors when you're completing the speaking and the writing tasks during the TOEFL exam. All right, so those are the big 3. It'll probably take you about a month, I think, to learn all the content in those 3 areas. Now remember, you can use my course any way you want. You have complete access to all of my lessons immediately upon your payment. At PayPal, I will give you a username and a password so you can get started with your lessons. Okay, the next thing is the listening and the reading parts of my course. The listening will give you about 40 different listening practice tests where you can practice with difficult type academic listening lectures, and then you can practice answering questions about those lectures to get so you can measure your progress. The reading part of my course I think is very useful. The main goal I have in the reading part of my course is to help you do two things. Number one, understand what the test-taking strategies are for the reading section of the test. 2, to increase your speed reading to a minimum of 300 words a minute or more. I have 70 different speed reading tests to help you improve in your reading proficiency and your reading speed. Because the faster you read, believe it or not, Mlin, the more you will remember, the more you will comprehend. And that's really the basic goal, because faster readers have fewer distractions than slower readers. And of course, with the TOEFL, if you read faster at, say, 300 words a minute, it would be much easier for you to complete, I think, the reading part of the test, and you will be able to complete the integrated and the integrated speaking and writing sections of the test, both of which also involve reading. All right, so anyway, let's talk about the writing and the speaking. These are the most important, I think, or the most popular parts of my course, because most students, let's face it, you can study reading on your own, you can practice listening and grammar and vocabulary and all that, but you need somebody to listen to your speaking practice tests. You can't really do that on your own. You want somebody to help you, to coach you, and that's where my website and my online course comes in. I think it's very useful for you. So currently, Mlin, I have about 50 different independent and integrated speaking practice tests. Every time you complete one, you'll get feedback either from my TOEFL specialist or from me. And what we'll do is we'll give you a score and we'll give you comments based on your delivery, language use, and also topic development. So we'll definitely try to get you going in the right direction. We even recommend lessons. We even tell you based on what your problems are, we can even tell you what lessons you can focus on to get better. So in addition to the speaking, we also will give you some very good feedback on your writing. So you will have a chance not just completing the lessons and learning how to organize either your writing or your speaking task, but you also get a chance to complete some independent and integrated writing practice tests. Currently, I have 10 independent writing practice tests. I have 10 integrated writing practice tests, and you will get feedback from me after you complete one of those practice tests. And that's kind of how it works. So I think, Mlin, with the pronunciation, writing, and speaking areas, your improvement will be going through my lessons, and then you'll begin taking practice tests and getting feedback from me. I'll recommend some lessons that you can focus on to strengthen some of your weaknesses. You review those lessons, you come back, and you take more practice tests to help you measure your progress. That's how it works. All right? Anyway, cheer up. I understand you're depressed about your score. I know that. I can feel that. It is frustrating. I'll be honest with you, I just had one of my students last month. She scored 95 on the test. She got 27 on the writing. She got 26 on the speaking. She got 23 points on the listening. However, she got 19 points on the reading. Now for her, she missed, I think, her goal by 2 points on the reading, so obviously she's not very happy either. Even though her score is higher than yours, she's still not happy because she cannot become a practicing pharmacist here in the United States without reaching 21 on the reading, right? So is she going to give up? No, of course not. She's going to keep fighting. So she already knows she needs to work a lot in the reading area. That's always been her weakness, and that's where she's focusing her studies right now to make the improvements that she needs to make. You can also make your improvements, all right? So hang in there. Again, thank you for your comments. I would love to have you as a student. If you want to join my course, you can join today, tomorrow, or any time during the month that you like, whatever works out best for you. And once you join my course, I'll send you a username and a password, which will be your email, by the way, so that you can get started with your lessons. All right, thank you.